Let's just take a look at the empathize here for a second. It's extremely hard, by the way. It's extremely hard. The definition of empathy is to share the feelings of others. Just think about that. Like, how can you actually feel what another human being feels? What if that other human being is completely different from you? And you're the designer, and they're telling you, hey, I have this problem. You're like, you're trying, and that's your first mandate. Try to empathize with that person, right? It's really, really hard. So one thing that you can do, right, is that you can start with sympathy. This is also really hard, by the way, for sequential people. If you like math, if you're very process driven, and if you're very sequential, well, yeah, it might be really hard. Like, well, why don't people do this? Or for example, I've heard developers and programmers say, well, that's just user error. There's no such thing as user error. So there's no such thing as user error. But by the way, we are amazing as human beings, as individuals, as blaming things. It's like, oh, it must be me. Really? Especially during times when you're stressed and tired, or is it a poorly designed system? Or how can the system help me out to see if I'm doing something right or wrong? Oh, that's another one. So that's the idea, right? So going back to empathy, right? That's what you're trying to see how people, let's say when you're trying to design a solution for someone, well, but how do they feel about it? And we as humans, we're really hard with emotions. We're very emotional, but it's very hard to express them, right? So we try to add logic to that, or try to explain there must be a reason why. Sometimes there's 10 factors. You're just thinking about one, and that's one that they're telling you about, right? So empathizing, this is the hardest part, right? So start with sympathy, right? Sympathy is you're trying to understand someone else's suffering, right? So it's more cognitive. So first you try to understand why, then you can move from sympathy to empathy to try actually feel what they feel. It's really hard. Poor designs, but user error, that's not it. So if you start hearing that, this is user error, oh, it's me, I'm doing something wrong. The empathy part is key. If you empathize properly with the people you're trying to design for, and this is why I love design, because it's not about me, it's about what can I do for you.